Hi everyone, so today I want to show you this card which I'm calling a 6x6 double Dutch boxed roof card. Now I've seen one similar to this and I can't remember what it was called, and basically when you open the doors this pops up, but when the one I saw, this actually popped all the way up flat, and I have made one like that which I'll show you now, but I preferred this version, and this was actually a mistake because this was me trying to make the original card and then ending up with this, which was a mistake, but thinking I actually prefer that. So I'll show you the other one of how it's supposed to go. So this is the original, this is the how it's supposed to be. So you open these doors up and that opens completely flat, and then you've obviously got your section there to write. So that's how it's supposed to look. But I didn't really I wasn't sure about these thin doors and this strip here. I quite like it. I'll probably come back to this, but I do quite like it. But I ended up with this one, which I kind of prefer. It's easier to make anyway. It's a lot. I think it's a lot easier to make. So this was the other. Yeah. So this is what it's supposed to be like. But I actually ended up with this, and I quite like the way you get the box. I quite like the boxed. It's just a different look, really. So yeah, so then this one also has the bit in the middle where you write your message, and I also quite like the way this sits on your desk. It's quite nice. So yeah, so the flap doesn't go all the way up, but I quite like it. I've used a real mishmash of papers. So what I've used for the roof is that really old pad from Forever Friends, this Forever Friends Classic Decadence pack. I did find one of these on Amazon actually, so they are still around, floating around. eBay as well, you might do well if you're in the UK, or I think eBay is worldwide. If you can get onto eBay, that might be a good idea because you might well find these old pads. And then the doors, so these doors here, I actually used this, which was a Craft Sensations pad, and this was one that I got from the range. I know, actually, no, I didn't get it from the range. I got given it from the Swindon ladies. But I think they got it from the range. But it's really nice. And so with each pattern that you've got, you then also get it in a foiled version. So you've got the spots and then you've got the foiled spots. So all the way through the pad, it does that. So you've got, like, you know, foiled and some, not all of them, but pretty much all of them. You've got like a foiled version and then a normal version. But it's just quite a nice pad, to be honest with you. And I have used it quite a lot. And then for the inside, for the stripes that I've got in the inside there, I've used this first edition All That Glistens pad, which was from 2018, Christmas of 2018, and it's beautiful. I love this pad so much. It's so nice. So again, I don't know if this is still available because obviously it's 2018, but that's what I used. It was this one here, this shiny stripes. That's the word I'm looking for. So yeah, so that's what I did. So the dye, I can't remember where I got it from. If I can find it, if I can remember where I got it from, I will link it below. Same with this one as well. I'm not sure. Again, I got it online. Can't remember where or who from. Again, I will link it below if I can find it. I think I got it from Amazon, but I can't remember. Same with that one. Yeah. So that's the card. So let's get into it. Okay, so for this card, you're going to need a few mats and layers. It's not too bad. You need a piece of card that's 9 by 12, and as you can see, I've already scored it because I need to take you through how you do it, and then we'll go through the other pieces as and when we get to them. So you need the piece that's 9 by 12. You want it to be landscape, not portrait. And what you want to do is, if you bring your scoreboard in, you're going to lay it down along the, so it's along the long edge, and you're going to score from top to bottom at 3 inches and at 9 inches. Okay, you then want to turn it round and score it at 3 inches top to bottom. Okay, and then you want to score at 4 inches, but you're only scoring down to that first line, the 9-inch line that's going the other way. So you're only scoring to there, and then if you just flip it over, you're going to do the same on this side. So you're just going to score down from the 4 inches down to that 3-inch line going the other way. Okay, so then what you want to do is put it back in landscape, and you're going to score it at 2 inches and 10 inches, but you're only going to go down. You're going to basically go down past the, you're going to that 4-inch line basically. So you're going to the 4-inch line here and to the 4-inch line here. We're going to cut down that line in a minute, but I find it helps if you score it first, because then you kind of know where you're cutting. And then that's all you need to do in your scoreboard. All you need to do now is grab a cork board, and then we're going to do a couple of diagonal lines. So we're literally going to score. So in the, you can probably see mine already, but you've got a little box here. So you want to go from that corner there to this corner here. So you're going diagonally that way. Okay, so you're going to score across there. And then here, this little box here, you're doing the opposite. So you're scoring from that top right to the bottom left of that box. Okay, so then that is all your scoring done. So now what we're going to do is we need to cut certain pieces away. Now I'm going to use my Stanley knife and rule for this, just because then I know that I'm cutting a straight line. If I use scissors, I could easily go off. So I'm going to cut down. Okay, so we're going to start from left to right. So from the left, that first score line that you can see, I'm going to cut, and I'm going to cut all the way down past this first score line to this second, so basically the 4-inch line. I'm cutting down to there. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do first of all. And then I'm also going to cut from this second score line down, but I'm going to stop at the first score line going the other way. Okay, so I'm not cutting down to here. I'm only cutting to that first piece there. So you should end up with a little kind of flap, and obviously you've got that diagonal score line, so we will fold along there in a minute. But you want to repeat that over here. So this first one, you're cutting down to there, and the second one you're cutting further to there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so you should end up with two kind of flappy bits here, like this. And then all we're going to do is we're going to cut from here along that score line till we get to the cut line. And the same here, along that score line till we get to the cut line. So all of this will be left out, and all of this will be taken out. Okay, so there are your two pieces that you've cut out. So you don't need those. You can use them on other projects or whatever you want to do with them. Then what we're going to do is we're going to turn this over, because I've scored on this side, so I want to be folding that way. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over. So that's basically the inside of your card. So this score line here, this is a score line for your doors. So this is going to be basically a valley fold. I'm folding it in. So that's going to fold in. Just make sure it lines up along the bottom, like that. And we're going to do the same on this side. So that needs to fold in. And those two doors should meet in the middle. Fantastic. So that's good. And then what we're going to do is we are then going to score along. We're going to fold this top section in. So this is what is going to be your, basically I'm going to call it your roof. It's kind of like the top flap. That's your roof. Then we need to score along here, but we're going to, this bit here is going to go outwards like that. Okay, and you want to make sure it really does go at a right angle. Okay, so I'm going to close this door and then just fold this outwards like that. Okay, and then we're going to fold these bits down like that. So you should end up with this kind of thing. So this is kind of, it's doing that basically. You want it nice and straight. So what's going to happen is these two pieces are going to fold down, and they're going to stick on the inside of there like that. But before we do that, we're going to start decorating. Now, one thing I did want to do is I did want to round the corners of my, what's going to be my roof. So I'm just going to use, this is a corner rounder. This is quite an old one, so it's got a little bit blunt now, but it's not too bad. It's just nice for adding a little extra finish to your card. So I'm just going to round those off. So that's my roof. Might do my doors as well, actually. I might just do the top and bottom of my doors as well. Let's see if it will fit. You end up with that. You don't have to round your corners, just I fancy doing it, that was all. If you want to make these shorter, you can, but I quite like them being long. I don't see a problem with it. It doesn't bother me particularly. Right, so what you're going to need for the inside piece, you are going to need, before you start doing mats and layers as such, although this is a mat, I've chosen that my mats are going to be black. So what you want to do is you want to bring in a mat piece that is 5 3/4 by 11.5, and you're going to score it down the middle at 5 3/4, and then just go ahead and fold and burnish it. And then this is going to stick in the middle here like that. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that down. Okay, so you're basically sticking it in like a top fold card. And then you want a pattern piece on the top. And this needs to be 5.5 by 5.5. So that's going to go on there like that. And then on the inside here, you then want a white piece of card that's also 5.5 by 5.5. And this is going to have your greeting on it, and you're going to stick it straight in. I've already stamped mine, so I'm trying to be organised. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that in now. Okay, and then all you want to do is put something on the front here. So I've chosen to use this, which is a die that I got online. If I can find it, I will link it. I just thought it was really nice, but it's a nice size. It's really big. It's quite fancy. So I've had to put some of that double-sided sticky tape that I got from the craft show. I've had to stick that on the back of the card before I did it. So that's why you've got all these little bits. So I'm going to peel this off now, and then that's going to go in the middle there. Okay, so once you've stuck that down, you should end up with basically a top folding card within your card. So then we're going to sort out, I'm going to sort out the outside of the card first, and then we'll come back into the inside in a minute. So on the outside of the card, just fold these doors down. We've got these two little doors here, and we've got the roof to do. So for the doors, because we're going to be decorating the outside and the inside, you're going to need 4 matte layers, so 2 for the outside, 2 for the inside, that are 2 3/4 by 4 3/4. If you've rounded your corners, now is the time to round the corners of your mats as well. Do not forget to round the corners where you've rounded. And you also need 4 pieces, so you're going to need 2 for the outside, 2 for the inside, of pattern paper, and these are 2.5 by 4.5. And again, don't forget to round whatever corners you've already rounded. Don't forget to round those corners. So I'm going to go ahead now, finish off rounding these corners, and then I'm going to stick these 2 pieces on the outside of my doors. And we're going to come onto the inside of the doors in a minute, but I'm just going to go ahead now and stick these 2 together, and then I'm going to stick them on the outside here. Okay, so you've got your doors done, and then you want to do the top of your roof piece, or your top flap, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to turn it over because it makes it easier to stick it down. And so for this, you need, again, you're going to need 2 pieces, one for the outside, one for the inside. So for this, you need 2 pieces that are 2 3/4 by 5 3/4 for the mat, and 2 pieces that are 2.5 by 5.5 pattern for the outside. So again, don't forget, if you've got rounded edges, don't forget to round your corners. So that's going to go on there, and then the same with this one. And I'm going to go ahead, stick those down and stick that on the front there. Okay, so that's the outside of your card done. So if we were to fold, just fold these down, how it's going to be, pull it down, that's the outside of your card. Now, one thing you do need to watch out, which I haven't done and I should have done, I've used too thick a card base. I think this was about a 250, maybe even a 300. I think it might have been a 300 actually, this card base. But it just means that this is quite, where your folds are going to be here, it's quite chunky. Okay, so just watch out for that. Right, so now we're going to stick the inside doors on. And again, like I said, for this, you've really got these. So you've got two pieces that are 2 3/4 by 4 3/4, and two that are 2 1/2 by 4 1/2. So again, don't forget to round your corners, and we're going to go ahead and stick these on. Okay, so now what I want to do is, when I turn your whole card over, so you've stuck your inside pieces in, you're all ready, you've just got to stick this piece in. But before you do that, you need to assemble your card. One thing you can do, actually, which I'm just going to do now, is I can stick my pattern onto my mat. I can do that, that's not a problem. Let me just quickly work out which way my rounded corners need to go. So that's like that. I've actually deliberately cut these stripes so they exactly match up with what's below. So my rounded corners need to be in the top here, like that. And then obviously it doesn't matter on the black which way round we do it. There we go. So let me stick my pattern onto my mat and I'll be back with you in a second. So I've stuck that down. So what we're going to do now is, if we can turn it over a second. I'm actually going to turn it sideways, so I find it easier to do this. So on this part here, we want to put red tape. Okay, now you can use wet glue if you want, but I'm going to use red tape because I want it to stick straight away. I don't want it to be, you know, maybe sticking, maybe not. So I'm just going to put 2 layers of red tape. When I say 2 layers, I mean one above the other. Just so I'm fully covering that whole flap up. So now we can turn our card back over, and what we're going to do is we're going to take this flap and we're just going to bring it in like that, and then we're going to stick it to the underside of there, making sure that this, you need to make sure that's definitely cut straight, number one, and it needs to go in line with that there, because what's going to happen is that's going to stick on like that. Let me stand up so I can see what you can see. So you want it to be nice and square in there like that. So then when that folds along that line there, this comes down. Okay, you might even want actually to just put this in here like that and close the flap on it. In fact, I think that's probably the best way to do it, if I'm honest. So let's just bring this one in as well. Let's just, I'm going to do one at a time because I just think that would be easier. So I've brought that into there like that. I'm going to keep that down, and at the same time I'm going to bring the flap down and just stick it on the top, and then when you open it, it automatically opens. Okay, now it doesn't open all the way. There is a pop-up card that you can do that opens all the way, but this is not that. This is a slightly different version. Okay, but it's quite cool how you open that up and the doors open. I love that. So then we're going to do the same with this one. So just going to take off the tape. I'm going to bring that in, fold it along there, so your little triangles all folded up. That's going to be folded along there, you can see that. And then I'm just going to close, let's shut this one, close the flap onto it, and then hopefully when you open this, both doors open. Okay, and you get a kind of a box thing at the top there. Now obviously where those two pieces are, that's quite ugly, so that's why we're now going to stick that piece over the top, and it covers it up nicely, and it acts like a little, it's almost like, especially with the mirror, it's kind of like a little hut, which is why I chose to do the nativity scene, because I thought it kind of is kind of a bit like a, you know, like the inn when they trying to find somewhere to have baby Jesus. So yeah, so I'm going to go ahead now and stick this piece in. Okay, so there it is in the middle there, and obviously you've got your sides, and it just folds down nicely. So all we need to do now is I'm going to put a greeting at the top here. I'm going to put a Merry Christmas along the top there. And then if you want to, you can put a belly band on it, because obviously it does want to pop open. I'm probably not going to bother putting a belly band on, just because I quite like the way it sits, and also people never know what to do with the belly band. So if you display it, you can display it like that, so it's like that, so you can just see inside, or you can have it slightly open like that, so you just have a peek. But I like the fact the roof automatically lifts up, like the roof is not catching on the doors at all, and I love that. And then obviously you've got in here place to write, so it's just quite nice and neat. I really like it. I might end up sticking something else on here. I might have some angels on here or something else on here. I'm not quite sure yet, but at the moment I think I'm going to keep it like that. I'm just going to put my Merry Christmas on the top there. I'm going to put it on pads so that it stands up a little bit, although you don't really want it too much. No, I'm going to have it a little bit. You could have had it on a belly band across there like that, but as I say, I quite like it. I don't want too much on the front. I'm trying to keep it quite minimalistic. So I'm going to go ahead now and stick some pads on this and stick this onto the roof. Okay, so there you go. It's quite plain on the front. You've got Merry Christmas at the top, and then you open the doors and you've got Mary and Jesus. And then inside here, that's where you write your message. And there you go, that's your card. So this will fit into an envelope for a 6x6 card. Obviously you can decorate up as much as you want. There's lots of things you could do with this. I was thinking as well it might be quite useful for, like, to make a little house. So you could have little windows on the side here, maybe, a little cottage. And then you open it up and there's, I don't know, I was thinking even like a fruit stall actually, or like a flower stall inside for a birthday card. That might look quite nice. So yeah, lots of different things you could do with this, lots of different ideas. But yeah, I hope you like it. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below, and we'll see you next time. Bye.